So I guess you all read the introduction about myself, me and myself on Facebook. So I have just 3 years experience in iOS, and I am the one who lucky that have experience with unit tests 10 months ago with Swift. So today I want to talk about the unit tests in iOS development and maybe in software development in general. So on the screen, my slide had two parts. The first one is W8 questions about unit testing. The second one is demo, and the last one is question and answer. And I have to say that I don't like being disturbed. So if you have any question, just wait until I finish my sentence. Just don't ask me why I am still speaking. So let's start. Oh, and also this one is, everything is graph from my point of view. So I might be wrong. Just that I think so. So I tell you. So if you think I'm wrong, just feel free to correct me and convince me.
So it means we'll correct you at the end of the presentation, right?
You can wait until I finish my sentence. Okay. Just ask that it doesn't have to be at the end of the presentation. If you think
say that you don't like it.
Yeah, that's why I say that wait until I finish my sentence. Okay. Thank you. So we will start with the first questions. What is unit test? So according to Google or Wikipedia, unit testing is a software testing method by which the individual units of source code, sets of one or more computer program modules together with associated control data, usage procedures, and operating procedure are tested to determine whether they are fit to use. So this one is the official definition for unit tests on Wikipedia, as I found. And I think this is quite long and boring and too general. For me, in my understanding, unit test is just to verify a unit of your source code that they meet the expectation. So just that simple. And why should we do unit tests? Because if you Google, you can find like a ton, maybe 1,000 of reasons why you should do unit tests or the benefit of unit tests. But from here, I just list out 7 reasons that I found is true, with my experience. So the first one should be unit test is a really good documentation. If every time you start with a ticket, you always have to read the acceptance criteria and the description, something blah blah. And normally it's too long, and the guy who write those ticket description, they normally don't really understand how the software process or the workflow. So it's too general. But if you have like a code example, so it makes it much easier to think about that, to know how that one is supposed to work. And unit test is one of the best code example for that. So yeah, if you guys have read through the unit test code, you will see that it's easy, because this one is supposed to, for example, the summarize. I want to test a function that will return the sum of 2 integers. So it's just like, okay, this one is supposed to be like do the summarization of the one integer and another integer. And the second reason is unit test reduce cost of change. And the third reason, it reduces bugs in existing feature and new feature. Sorry, I think I forgot to add the new features here. And the next one allows refactoring. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the 2, 3, 4. I think that everyone has once in your life you do the refactoring or add a new feature, implement new feature, something like that. And there will be one thing that you need to know before you start doing anything, is that no existing function should be broken. If you want to do anything, you must be sure that nothing is going to be broken. And to do that, I think unit test is really a good way to be sure that it gives you confidence that, okay, this code is going to work. And in case that the existing functions broke, that the test will fail immediately. Someone is using my screen. Okay, so in case that something broke, that the unit test will fail immediately, and you can just pinpoint that right away and fix it. And without unit test, it might take you days or even weeks to find out that bastard who is messing up the whole code. And also, I think that it's just unit that give you confidence when you do everything with your code. And whatever you do, if the unit test pass and everything pass. And the fifth is unit test makes development faster. That might not be true for the one who the first time doing unit tests, because in my experience, that the first time I worked with unit tests, it took me 2 weeks for one ticket only with 5 functions. So, but days by days, that as I have experience, and when I look at the code and I know exactly what I am going to do with the unit test, then it makes everything faster. And also, I have found out that with unit tests, you can just skip the first spaghetti, or I don't think this could call spaghetti code. Like the first iteration, for example, the sorting method. So because initially you want to deliver the code as fast as possible, so you might go with bubble sort, and you run a unit test for that. And as long as the sorting works and everything works, so you can just deliver that, and later you can just come back with the better and more robust sorting algorithm, and maybe quick or something like that. So yeah, so somehow unit test makes development faster. And the next one should reduce the fear. I think that I have said this one before. Once you have the confidence, you don't fear anything. And if something happens, you can just see that where it broke, and you can just find it out. And the last one is testing is super fun. I think testing should be a challenge, and if anyone try for a challenge, to go for that, just go for that. Because if we say coding is an art, then unit testing is also an art. And I think that I will add more question to this, that is unit testing worth the effort? That to answer this, for me, unit test is like going to the gym. And okay, so you know that it's good for you, and everyone's talking about that. You can find on Facebook, on Google, now, hey, just go to gym, it's good for your health. So you do that. And for the first few weeks, you have to take maybe 1 hour of your productive time in the day to change your clothes and to run on the wheel. And then you are not so sure if you are really gaining anything about that, rather than just a sore legs and arms. And just the same to unit test. The first time you do that, it's really painful. And after that, it just when the deadline came, you just quick unit test, just like you quick going to the gym to finish everything, just to meet the deadline or something like that. And then after that, if you're making back to the gym, you will feel the pain again. So for me, that unit test is worth the effort. But the effort for each one is not going to be the same. If you're working for a company which has a spaghetti code base, or the company that doesn't really quality your code, so unit test might take a lot of effort. So consider that. I'm not saying that you all should do unit tests, just it's good for you. And next question. Oops. Okay, next question is, when should we do a unit test? So I think I have found this, how do I say that? Chart? Graph? Yeah, graphic here that can describe when you should do the unit test. So here it depends on two things in my argument. So the first one should be the cost of unit testing. In this case, should be the time you spend on doing unit tests. And the second is the benefit of doing unit testing. So here you can see here that the top left here is the algorithm code. There's for some function that do like just algorithm, like basic calculations or something like that, sorting. For this one, the cost of unit testing is really low, but the benefit is really high, so you should do that. And for this one, like the coordinators, the benefit is really low, but the cost of unit testing is really high, so I don't recommend doing this. And for this one, the overcomplicated code and native factoring, consider this one. You will see that the benefit is really high, but the cost of unit testing is also high. And I think you should all consider when you want to do a unit test for this one. And for this one, you can do that. If you don't want to do that, just don't do that. It's just a trivial code, the cost is low, and the benefits is low. So it doesn't take time. It doesn't really take time for you to do a unit test, but it doesn't really affect anything in the code base. And it doesn't really affect your product, the final product. So if you want to do that, do. And so, any question about this?
What is coordinator?
I'm not sure, but here I just think a really complicated one. Like maybe that the unit test that has something to do with the server, the connection or something like that.
So we shouldn't write unit test for.
Yeah, I don't recommend writing for this one because that it doesn't worth the effort. So the next question is how. So I grab everything into 3 steps. The first one should be the analyzation, so you should know what the code is supposed to do. So for example, if it's going to be sorting, so if you provide an array, that the unsorted array, that it should give you the output as a sorted array, no matter what algorithm you give. And the second step, it defines every possible pairs of test cases. So you need to think of the input and the expected outputs. So for example, if the input of a summarization is 1 and 2, and the output should be 3, so you need to think of every possible test cases for this, and the step 3 is implement it, write it down, and run the test. And yes, so for the reference, I put 3 links here. And something that for software development in general, I think unit test concept should be the same, because there are 3 common elements. The first thing unit test is low level. They focus on a small part of your code base. And the second one, that unit test should be written by programmers. So I think this is going to be the most common mistake, because everyone thinks that unit testing should be the work of tester. And it's not true. The programmer should be the one who write the unit test. And the third thing is that unit test is supposed to be faster than other kind of tests. I'm not sure that what are the other kinds of tests in here, but they say that unit test is fastest one. So just go with that. And the only thing that is different is the framework that we use based on the computer programming language. For example, if you are going with Objective-C, then you should go with Kiwi and Spectre. And if you are using script, then I think Quick the only option at the moment. So Quick and Nimble. So I have put the link for Quick here, so you can just go there, read the documentation, how to implement that. It's quite simple. So the next thing should be the demo. Okay, so I didn't really have time for the full demo, so for here, So for example, I have set up something here. I get the function, two function. The first one is summarization, and the second one is the random number. Get the random number between the range. So for the first one, I think everyone knows for this one what is the input, what is the expected output. And for the second one, it get the random number between a range. So what?
You change the background or something because F1
The like?
It is so small.
Oh.
I think it's fine.
Okay. It's good now? Okay. Is it good now? So can anyone tell me how can we expect in the function get random number? What do you expect for this function? No? No expectation for this function, the get random number between?
Which are the random number between from number and two number?
So
Expectation?
yeah, the expectation is going to return an integer, that this integer is going to be smaller than the true number and larger, that bigger from number. So I'm going to write in the desk here.
Ah, yeah.
So this one is using exceedDesk. And for exceedDesk, for the exceedDesk case, we have the function setup, which is run before every desk cases. And the function teardown is gonna run after every single desk case. So if you want to set up anything you want to go globally, just go in the setup and remember to release that in the teardown. So here in the setup, I will set the desk model for my data model. And in the teardown, I'm going to set this one to new. And okay, I'm going to write a function for this one. And remember, every desk case should start with desk. Otherwise, equals won't recognize it. And remember, the name should make sense. Oops. So should be the first expectation is the result here. For example, from 1 to 100, 0 to 100. So the first expectation is going to be greater. Then equal the result should be greater than 0. And the second expectation should be less than. Result less than 100. Okay, let's run this test case. Yes, sorry, now it just. Yeah, so it's passed. For example, if let's see, yeah, just that expectation. And for the second function is the summarization. We are gonna write a test case for this one also. Yes, so normally for the simple function like this, I always go with 3 expectations. Okay, now just go with 3. Oops. Yes, so this one does. This one passed. Yes, so talking about acid test, so I think there is something I should tell you. Is how you test the asynchronous code. That the one you actually send something to the server and then you have to wait until it get back, until the success block or the done block is executed. So for AC test, we have something like expectation with description, and then we have to wait. We have to fulfill that expectation in the callback block. And finally, we will wait until that block to be executed. So I have the code example here. This one is actually the code I wrote for my company. Let's see what, here I want to test the function add product to wish list. So we should go to see what it's supposed to do. Okay, so I will run the explanation for this one just a little bit. We are doing something that everyone get a new wish list we're going to store into the local database. So for this one, for this slide, we'll get the local wish list from the database. And this one is not new, so that there is actually a local wish list before. Oops. We are going to renew this one. So we are going to just assign it to the whole new empty array. And of course, this one is also that the attribute items of this local wish list is going to be renewed too. And we are going to create a new wish list item with the product we provide here and the simple product here. So this is just like some preparation. So you don't need to actually know what it is supposed to do. And we will store wish list here. The notification is just that we will send a notification to other object who is observing this event, just to show like a batch number or something like that. And here we will verify that if the user is actually logged in or not. If not, we will return the new wishlist item here. And if no, we're gonna synchronize the wishlist, the local wishlist, with the remote wishlist. And this code is gonna do a synchronization. And yeah, so let's get back to the test. So I want to test the expectation, the asynchronous code, because here you can see that this one takes time. The send wishlist request to the endpoint with the method parameter. This one takes about like 5 seconds to get the response. So we can't test anything just right away. So your expectation is that the local wishlist is going to be the same to the one that we get from the server. But we have to test it after 5 seconds or 2 seconds. Or the expectation right now, we are testing the performance. It takes like 5 seconds for return. So here we have the expectation and the expectation with description. The description name is random. You can just do whatever you want. And we have the callback block here. And in this block, in this block, we will do something that verification up here, that the store wishlist item is going to have the product equal to the provided product, and the simple school equal to the provided one, and blah blah. And we have the expectation fulfilled. So this one is actually that the expectation that the success block will be executed. And the way for expectation with timeout is we have to always put this line under the callback block. So that's how the expectation in HTTP work. Any questions? Is that not really understandable? Okay, so oops. So the next thing I want to talk about the quick framework. So for now, the projects I am working on, we are using Quick for view controller testing. So don't make the mistake that we consider the whole class as unique. We just want to test every single functions in that class. And for the class which is the view controller, we are using Quick and Nimble framework. So let's run through here. Actually, we don't need to test the view did lot here. It's just something can be done automatically. And for the Quick framework, for the Quick and Nimble, so we will have the spec function here. And this block, the before reach is going to run before every single test case, and the after reach is run after every single test cases. And the scenario can be described using the describe keyword. And the test cases is going to be start with the it, with the name, and the expectation here. So because Quick is now using the behavioral development testing, so for me it's a win-win because the word is really easy to read. That's better than the other one. Yes, so I don't know how to explain this one. Just look at the flow. Okay, so for the fetch categories, that we want to test the success K. So for this one, we have the set should fail into the web service whenever this one is set to false. That the code block is always success. So the success block is always executed, not the failure one. And so here we will have the expectation here, and the describe that it's just that it describe the case, the scenario, and we run the before reach, just to make sure again, and the expectation here again. So I think Quick is quite simple, but this example is true. Okay, so I have the better example of Quick here. So it's just testing a function, simple function summarization again, but the flow is going to be like this. We expect the summarization one. Oh no, this one is just like something redundant. Before it, no need. So you are testing the function summarization again here. So you describe the scenario here that you want to test the function sum, and the expectation here that the sum of 1 and 2 should be 3, and the expectation statement goes here. After is maybe yes, just leave it here. Should I? Yes. Yeah, so that's how unit tests work. Any questions so far? So if I was saying too fast, you can just ask me again so I can explain that one slowly. No one here? Anyone outside?
I think probably you're speaking too fast.
Too fast? So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want
well,
to.
for me, yes.
I don't want to run everything again.
No problem. Just keep going.
That's the end.
Because we had a recording. So.
That's the end.
That's the end.
Yeah, Demo, if you have any function that you want to test or you want to ask me how should we do with that, just go. Because for me, just that my example is just like this. Any questions about the function you need to do a unit test? Oh, back to your. You said before that everyone should write a unit test before implementation. I don't really agree with this. It depends. But now, firstly, we want to do the TDD, which is that we write a unit test before implementation. But later we realize that we can't make it to meet the deadline, so we just go with BDD. The only difference is that TDD write a unit test before. And the BDD is testing the actual behavior of your code, of the function. So maybe it should be, if you feel like you can meet the deadline with unit test, you can write a unit test before. Or the unit test, the cost of unit test is not really high, and you can just go with unit test, the TDD. But for us, we don't consider doing that. I'm not saying that the way you think is wrong, but just I don't really agree with this.
So you think after development, the unit test should be written after development?
For me, we are doing like if we want to write a unit test for something, we just write it, not like there is no requirement that before you want to implement something, you should write unit test for it. So we don't have the requirement like that. So just if you want to do the implementation, go. But you feel like that you can meet the deadline and you want to write the unit test before, then we'll go with that too. So there is no actual process. But I think it's good. It's also good to write a unit test, but not everyone should do that. It depends. Yeah. It's good. Yeah, I agree that if you want, you can just make sure after implementation that that one is gonna pass, and your implementation is fine. There's nothing's wrong with that. You just wait for the code review to just get rid of some redundant line or something like that. So writing before is good, but it doesn't mean that everyone should do that, in my opinion. Any question?
So do you think the writing unit test is suitable for maybe startup projects? Because the development cycle is maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, and the product owner want to see the product right away maybe 1 week, 2 weeks. So the development team don't have enough time to write unit tests
They can do unit tests later.
later.
Yes. Why do we have to do that before?
Because I really want to apply the test-driven development, so we should write unit tests first before development, but following that model is not, we don't have time for this.
I think that the delivery time should be considered first. That I don't really have experience with startup, but I think if you want to meet the deadline and your client or your client want the product as soon as possible, and that product should be like at least perfect. So I think that you just ignore unit tests, and later if you want to like refactor tests or to improve the technical skills, and for us we are doing something like this. We are asking the PM, that the product manager, that hey, for the quarter two, can you get rid or can you lower some expectation so we can have time to do some technical stuff, like we are migrating everything to Swift. And we don't have time for that because the expectation from the PM is too long. We have the whole long list. And we are supposed to pick up the top priority tickets. So that's why we don't have time to do a lower priority ticket, which is the technical stuff. So we are asking the PM, okay, we want to do something technical. Then just go with that. But the first product, you need to deliver it in time. But if you can just ask your client, okay, can you lower your expectation for this release? Something like that. But I'm not sure if you can do that. But in your case, I don't think you should write unit tests before.
So in your team, the developer write unit test after implementation?
We write it when we want it.
Like
Yeah. So there is two cases. We have the ticket that saying, okay, do a unit test for this one. That the Azure that is already implemented code, and they say, okay, do a unit test for that one. If we pick up that ticket, we do that. And if we are working on the new feature, normally we don't do unit tests before. We just come back later and say, hey, I want to do unit test for this one. Because when we realize that the coverage of the unit test is lower than the expectation, which is like 70%, then we will find out that which class or which function have not the unit test implemented, and we will do that. That's how we work. So we don't actually like,
Let me ask you a strict question.
yeah.
In your team, the developer also the person who write implementation and unit test.
Yes.
Okay. And what happened if the developer was assigned a unit test and he want to pass it very quickly and he write the test case, maybe not cover.
We have the code review.
code review.
Yes.
And the code review, who is responsible for code review?
Yes. No, we actually
leader?
just like review each other's code.
So it still takes much time, right?
Actually, like recently,
You need
the
someone to review the code again.
the review just takes one day. If they fail the ticket, then we do that again in maybe like 2 or 3 hours. Because they just point out that the redundant one and for example, I remember one time I was writing a unit test code, which is not actually that's the behavior of the whole code. Like, let me remember, the code is like, did I add in something to the database? And my unit test is just like I confirm that the new database array has the old count plus 1, but it's actually not the right way to test it. We should test that the last element of the array should be the one we just added. So they just point out something like this. And we can always discuss that, okay, if we think that the way we do is right, and they're not really right about that, so we can discuss, we can argue.
So in your company,
Yes.
do you have any system like automatic testing?
Yes. We have for view controller and for UI, we have the automation test.
No, I mean the server. When you push your code on the server, maybe like GitHub or Bitbucket,
Yeah, GitHub.
the server will automatically give the system and testing verify on the test case.
We have something Travis CI for that. So it's called the Travis.
Service.
Yeah, the continuous the just CI, the Travis CI. So, but Travis CI recently has some problem with Quick and Nimble, and we are using the Quick and Nimble for unit testing. So it like normally Travis takes like half an hour, 1 hour just for one pull request. So we are thinking of some alternative. Yeah.
1 hour for building.
Yes, 1 hour for building a pull request. So, yeah, this kind of. Oh. But we are considering using Jenkins. The one who was supposed to do Jenkins was fired recently because he didn't attend the company in time and always takes day off without any reason. So we fired him. So we don't have anyone to do checking research right now. We are using just Travis. And I think that Travis server should be really strong, but turn out it's not really strong as I think. Anything else?
Yeah, because my purpose when I come here is to find a model
Yeah.
which is suitable to my team because we are a startup project. So the requirement will usually change after weeks, maybe after months. So if you can write unit test before development, it's good for developers in initial stage. Because I really don't like the model after development. We implement the unit test and the mindset of the developers. We try to have the unit test to pass the test case.
Do you have anyone that is?
You want the example?
No. Do you have any expert in unit test in your company? Like the one who actually have experience with that and the one who is actually good.
Well, I have the experience, but for the web development, but to
I think that because I said before that the concept should be the same, so you can just ask him to do the pair coding with your programmer, because it actually makes it faster when you have the pair coding. The pair coding, the pair, like two people, yeah. So I think if we have like a newbie, that the one who don't really have any experience in unit tests and the one who had actually the experience before, so it's going to make it faster. Because the pair one, he knows what to do, and this one, he know what to do with the code. He know how to translate the knowledge into the code, so maybe it's faster. Yes, if you want to do the test before and you want to meet the deadline, and I think you should do the pair coding. Because for the newbie to do a unit test, and you are not going to make it in time. Any questions? Outside? You can just sing me the hello, I don't mind.
I have a question. Can I create unit test by automatically or record from real device?
Why you should do the real device?
Because in, uh, in my company, sometimes we need to test automatically some function, and if you think in order, I remember that we have some case to record device to test.
I don't think that one should
Record your action.
do
Yeah,
unit test.
because the action and we can
Oh!
edit it.
It's
So-
related to the real device.
Yeah,
Isn't the
and-
function you do like a IB action, it's just a function? You can just call that manually, right?
Yeah.
So you actually want to test if the user press the button and the app is supposed to do something, right?
Yeah.
But you do have the function for that. You do have the function that the button is tapped. Why don't you call that in your code? In the test code? Like, okay, so I'm gonna go with this one.
I think your idea is in Java, in Android, automatic testing. Right?
I remember
When you run the application auto fill out the form and press the button how many times and drop it.
I remember that I saw all the application can match it on iPhone.
Yeah, I also hear about your questions. Actually, currently, iOS 9 also have this feature. It's called, I don't know, actually the name for, but actually they have like you just build the application on the either on the iOS simulator or your device. Then you click record, and after that you action on your screen. It records everything you action. Then when you run, it do the action actually same.
You are doing UI testing.
Yes, yes.
This is UI testing. But it's not very.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's not suitable. Because we have to do everything.
But
And in Android, the application, there is one application can do all the things for you. But in iOS, I don't have a chance to see this.
yeah, but can I make
Yeah.
use faster than write line by line?
No,
The unit test is just to verify that the single units of your system works. So for this case, you just want to verify the function only. So for the other one, I don't consider it a unit test. For this, okay, let's say something that write a unit test for MH home view controller. So for this one, I have to write a unit test for the write more repositories and a function for the number of rows in session. For this one, I have to mark the data before. And the self for row at index path, so I have to verify that this one will return a UI table view. And for this IB action, just like you said, this is actually the function. We can call it. We just invoke the function by doing something like create the instance for the MH view controller, and we call this function. And we can verify whatever is written here. That's how we do unit tests. So for in your case, so you want to verify the actual, how do you say that, interaction in the device.
Yeah.
Like when you tap something or when you open the camera or something. I don't think that one needs unit test.
Okay, can I see unit test of this view controller?
I don't write something for this one. I just write for the base view controller.
So,
And actually, this is just a demo, so if you want to see something more funny than this, so we should go with this.
okay. So can I see the left view controller test?
Yes. Why is this here?
Where is the left view controller?
Yeah. So you want to see the implementation for this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's actually really complicated. I have something more simple.
More than 1,000 lines?
Yes.
Really? And the unit test?
Oh, this one is an implementation.
Yeah,
The
implementation is more than 1,000 lines.
the side guy. What? Yes. Yeah, actually, the app is really complete. There is a reason why it won the App Store Best of 2015 in Hong Kong and Taiwan.
Well, do you use some tool to verify your unit test? Something like code coverage or percentage of verified code?
What?
Code coverage.
What is that?
Well, when you test, now for example, the function A, there are maybe 100 lines, and your unit test only run about maybe 700 lines, and how about 30 lines? The rest of the code, is it running or not?
The unit test?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But if you just click on the function, then it just run a unit test for that function only.
No, I mean, did you ever verify the unit test run all over the line of code?
It depends on what is that like? What is that code like is supposed to do? What is that code like supposed to do?
Wow. Maybe,
So it is something like, okay, print out something, or the print the log, no, just passes, or something like it's gonna invoke a method from the other object. So we are just gonna verify with OSIMOC. So we will do the partial mock for that object, and we will verify that the object, the mock object, is gonna call the function, just like that. So you will see the, what is the implementation? Well, I remember we are doing some mocking. Just forget about that. The Saiga unit test for this one is actually simple. It's just have the navigation bar, the UI web view, and the button for this view. So we'll have the unit test for the view will appear. That's all. Yeah. We should have the unit test for HTML style here. Let's see. Okay. So you want to run the unit test for the HTML style? It's not implemented yet.
Yes, but it is a simple line.
Simple line, okay.
I mean, when you write unit test for a function, did you ever check the coverage of this function?
Yes, also. If that one is also implemented, we just run the test, and then we see a redundant line. Normally, this one never happened to us because we have the code review really strictly. So even if we had just like the empty line exists, so we just delete it immediately. So no comment out code, no redundant empty line, and no unused variable or something like that. So we do have that. So normally if we write a unit test function for something, we don't really have to modify the code.
So if the code coverage is lower than some maybe 90%, you
Then we will find something, we will find out which one has not implemented yet. And we will implement that. We will just call the PM, hey, I want to do a unit test for this one. Because right now the coverage is actually lower than 70%. Yes, so our expectation is 70% that's unit test coverage. Yes, a lot. I spent like 2 months, my first 2 months when I joined my company just to do unit tests. And the first time I thought, okay, what the fuck is this? Why do I have to do unit tests? But normally eventually I will find out this one is really useful. Okay. Sorry, the name is really poor. Let's go back. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, for the click, every time we want to run the test, we have to run everything. This is actually not robust tool. I apologize that my machine is really slow. No one has any question from the outside? Are you sure?
Sorry, yeah, please. I have one question. See,